Hello and welcome to Beekeeper Prime. I'm Hira Daria. Let's understand what's in store for investors and markets today. Overall, from a global perspective, if you see, Wall Street actually managed to end the 4 day losing streak. Now, whether this is a start to the Santa rally that we usually witness during the year, that's something we need to wait and watch. But this is some positive news, at least from a global perspective. Dow, however, you see we ended with gains of almost around 0.3% coming in there. S&P 500 as well ended with gains of around 0.1%. Whereas Nasdaq Composite overall, if you go to see, has seen a very flattish ending in yesterday's session. In terms of European markets, again a lower end is what we've seen, and that was mainly on the back of the cues that it picked up from Bank of Japan, which actually went ahead and adjusted its yield curve control tolerance. Now, basis this news, if you see the global bonds as well, they rose after Japan has widened this gap on 10-year Japanese government yields. The US 10-year yields also jumped to 3.68%. From a European market perspective, overall, it was mainly the auto sector which led the losses with cuts of almost around 1.5%, whereas a few sectors gained, including banks, which rose to the tune of around 1.7%. It's really interesting to see actually how Bank of Japan's Kurudo is taking this kind of a shock, global market with a policy change. From there on, if you see in terms of other news flow items, you have China, which has actually gone ahead and changed the way it defines COVID deaths. Now, that is something which we need to take into perspective as well, because clearly, from an India perspective as well, things in terms of COVID, the number of cases reporting and the genome testing which needs to be done has to be taken into consideration. Musk clearly is hunting for a new Twitter CEO as well. So that's going to be an interesting piece to watch out for in terms of what happens from a market perspective. And lastly, from oil, if you go to see, crude oil has been holding on to almost two-day gains, and this is on the back of the U.S. stockpile numbers that have come in. If you see in terms of the U.S. stockpiles, clearly they have increased, and that's something which is giving us some bit of an indication with regards to where crude oil prices are concerned. So that's from a global perspective. But moving on to now SGX Nifty. Let's see what SGX Nifty has been doing in trade today. Clearly, we are seeing an uptrend in terms of SGX Nifty in today's session, which is giving us an indication that yes, there is an expectation of a positive opening in trade today. So around 0.4% higher is what we are seeing. Opening around 18,500 is what SGX Nifty is indicating. A lot of sectoral focus that comes in. IT continues to remain in focus. Bank Nifty continues to remain in focus in terms of the domestic markets. And apart from this, one of the smaller sectors that will continue to remain in focus in the domestic markets is going to be with regards to where the rice sector is concerned. Clearly, stocks like LT Foods, Kohinoor Foods, because the food inflation has actually sent Thai rice exports to a 4 year high. Now, what this means is after India, I mean, Thai rice is the second biggest exporting market overall, and because of which, if you see China, they have started to actually build their stockpiles with regards to buying Thai rice before the holiday season, and even the Indonesian demand is seen going up. Now, what this would mean for the Indian rice companies will clearly be something we need to watch out for. So, watch out for all the rice companies in trade today as well. Moving from there on, let's quickly look at what could be in store for the markets. Earlier, also, we've mentioned that in terms of the strategy, clearly buy on support and sell on resistance is something what everyone is actually talking about. And that's what is the safest bet that analysts are asking to take. No one is seeing a major downside to come, and there could be some mild bouts of corrections that we could see in the markets. But clearly, the trend is seeming to be more on the positive side from an Indian market perspective. Now, let's quickly move on to stocks that could be in focus in today's session. Overall, if you see in terms of stock specific action, we'll quickly look at stocks like, apart from the rice companies, the bulk and the block deals that have happened in today's session. So in terms of one of the biggest names is Dabur. If you see in terms of where Dabur is concerned, Overall, there has been a bulk deal that has happened in terms of Dow, but the stock is up around 14% in the last 6 months. However, there has been an underperformance in 2022. It's down around 1.4% in the year. And entities of the Berman family, which is a part of the majority shareholding, have sold approximately 1% shares via block deal that is in yesterday's session. So that's Dabur for you. In terms of, let's move on to the next stock that will continue to remain in focus from a bulk block perspective, Sterling and Wilson Renewables. Now, in terms of the first day issue, again, you have a 153% demand from the non retail category on this counter. And you have promoters like Shapurji Palonji Group and Khurshid Yazdi Daruwala who are going to exercise the oversubscription option for their stake sale. So you have Sterling and Wilson Renewable Energy that will continue to remain in focus in today's session. Moving from this one, Bharti Airtel has entered into an agreement to acquire 8% share in technology startup Immensitas. Now, what this would mean for Bharti Airtel is going to be interesting to watch out for, specifically from a perspective of strategy as well as from a technology advancement that the company is looking to do. So, watch out for a Bharti Airtel in trade today as well. Moving from a Bharti Airtel in terms of other stocks that we will continue to watch out for, we have City Union Bank. Now, the Reserve Bank of India has discovered divergence in additional gross NPAs, and this is for FY22, and this amounts to almost around 259 crores. So that is something that we need to see as to how the stock will react to this, because this could be a marginal negative in terms of the counter. The net NPA stood at around 259 crores. They had a provision of around 40 crores and a net profit of around 41 crores that was reported. So a divergence number of 259 crores could augur in a negative fashion with regards to where a City Union Bank is concerned. Moving from there on, a couple of fundraisings that have interestingly happened. There are four stocks that will be in focus on the same. You have Central Bank of India, where the board will be meeting on the 26th of December 2022 to approve a fundraising. Secondly, you have GAIL, which has raised around 1,575 crores via NCDs on a private placement basis. You have Mindspace Business Park REITs, which has issued a commercial paper worth 100 crores. And lastly, Jubilant Ingrevia has issued commercial papers worth almost 150 crores. So these four stocks will continue to remain in focus in today's session on the back of the fundraising that has happened. Moving on to the IPO update, you have KFin Technologies. The IPO has been subscribed by around zero point 0.7 times, which is 70%, and this is on day two. Day three will be interesting as to whether it just meets the mark or gets oversubscribed. So clearly watch out for KFin Technologies and Ellen Electronics. The maiden share sale was subscribed around 37% on the first day. Today is day two. So watch out for how the subscription pans out with regards to where Ellen Technologies is concerned. A couple of other stocks that continue to remain in focus in today's session on the back of F&O ban will be Delta Corp, GNFC, Indiabulls Housing Finance, as well as IRCTC and a Punjab National Bank. These stocks are in F&O ban in today's session. And interestingly, with regards to IRCTC, you have LIC, which has gone ahead and increased stake during the last couple of days. And that stock continues to remain in focus along with the other railway counters as well, because they have been buzzing ahead of the budget session. Sheila Foams, that stock will be trading ex buyback, so watch out for a Sheila Foam in today's session. NBCC will be in focus on the back of an order win, so you could see some bit of momentum picking up on that counter. Yesterday's session as well, stocks like Just Dial, IRB Infra, as well as Sudarshan Chemicals did see some good up moves, so that uptrend could continue in today's session as well. So overall, in a way, if you go to see from a market perspective, yes, there could be some bit of consolidation that could be continuing, taking into consideration what's happening in the global markets, cues coming in from Japan as well with regards to what Bank of Japan has done. And from here on, whether we will see a Santa rally that will start probably for the next couple of trading sessions will be interesting to watch out for. But overall trend is seeming positive for the Indian markets. What levels we should be watching out for is best for the experts to come and tell in. But overall, buy on dips, sell on rise is the strategy which majority of the analysts are recommending. And very lastly, one important other news spec that we need to consider to watch out for as to what comes in as an update from that end, and how how markets will changes with regards to SEBI, which has made amendments to the buyback rules. Now they've gone ahead and proposed to phase out the stock exchange route for buybacks, and the timeline for completion of buyback has now been reduced by 18 days. So that's something which we need to watch out for as to how that will impact buybacks, what's going to be the outcome of it. So that's an important peg we will be watching out for in today's session. But overall, yes, a positive market opening is what is on the cards. How the day pans out is going to be interesting to watch out for. That's all that we have in today's trade setup. Thanks for watching.